Chen. I'm very focused on the responsible development, deployment, and governance of artificial intelligence, and there's a number of hats that I wear in terms of fulfilling that role. The full-time job is I'm the innovation director at Ascender. We're an economic development nonprofit in Pittsburgh that serves as a startup incubator, co-working space. We host a lot of events and conferences, but we also take on strategic initiatives around forging partnerships with different AI organizations, with everyone from like the United Nations to the X Prize Foundation to other folks. And so through that work at Ascender, I'm able to work with these organizations, X Prize, the UN, founding Pittsburgh AI as a network. And essentially, we're just trying to build as robust of an AI ecosystem in Pittsburgh as possible. Educators and education systems, as well as the family of organizations, companies, etc., that surround what it looks like for people to gain the knowledge and skills to participate in this kind of next phase of the digital economy. That's so critical. We're already way behind in terms of preparing people for these things, and it's not like you have to deploy a full-fledged multi-million-dollar robotics lab or AI lab all at once, because we know how education funding works. We know kind of the pace of change and innovation. However, if you want to look at that path from people who knew absolutely nothing about AI up to having a chance at competency or mastery in that subject, you got to start somewhere. And I think even just introducing a basic degree of awareness and digital literacy with the context of how automation is going to come about, you can plug some of that into existing STEM curricula. As we're talking about science, technology, engineering, mathematics, etc., include the context for how each of those things play a key role in how automation functions, and give people some of that vocabulary around, hey, this is what, these are the kinds of data collection processes that we see through IoT sensors that are coming out, and this is what it means to label data, and this is what bias looks like if you're not using data collection methods properly or not being thoughtful about the people that you're interacting with. I think the application of existing structures towards a more kind of forward-facing and more kind of evergreen space is one start, and we could go so much further. Thank you. That's very kind of you, first of all. For me, part of the inspiration behind building Pittsburgh AI was an extension of this mission for the organization City AI. And there's more than 60 cities, in a growing number of communities all around the world, from already well-resourced hubs, not surprisingly, but also a lot of even small cities within developing countries that see AI as a potential lifeline or a golden opportunity for them to step up and participate in this fast-growing digital global economy. And so we're already at a point where, sure, there's still a digital divide in terms of global internet connectivity, but we're very, very close to universal accessibility of educational resources and free open source infrastructure around software, around other kinds of, platforms, frameworks, etc., that anyone with a motivation and, the degree of resourcefulness in propagating a message can create something. And if anything, emerging markets and emerging economies are not going to play by the same rules as the rich kind of like, you know, financed economies of the West. People within, whether it's a war-torn country or rural, disinvested like region, if they can find the solution to activating an entire population of people and create wealth and create that kind of connectivity, there's no like limits to what they can do. I think a few things that I would love for, yes, both students and their parents. It's going to take everybody to self-educate about, you know, how these dynamics are affecting the world around us. And a couple core things. One, it's not magic. AI is not magic. Everybody can understand the fundamental dynamics, you know, behind at least, you know, the core processes for how data is collected and used, and, you know, to make decisions and all of that kind of stuff. Everybody can learn that language and become literate in that area. The second thing I really want to enforce is that the key to getting AI right lies in that question of what makes us human. We're thinking about our place in the world and in a future where a lot of menial jobs and, you know, repetitive tasks and those kinds of things are automated. We're looking towards a future where we need to encode values into automated systems to determine, you know, how they prioritize different aspects of the human condition or of life and whatnot. And so now is the time for people to diversify their thinking and their skill sets, you know, not allow themselves to pigeonhole themselves into any illusion of being able to have a job, being able to have job security for the rest of your life with one discrete skill set. It requires ongoing adaptability and probably a high degree of sociability as well if we want to live decent lives going into the future. We're going to have to be able to adapt to change, and we're going to have to be able to work with other people on it. And there's, you know, anyone can start that immediately.